May 20th, 2015 meeting of the Environment and Public Works Committee will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Baroth is excused. Mr. Delahanty?
Here.
Chairman Marionetti?
Here.
Mr. Morelli is excused. Mr. Rocco?
Here.
Mrs. Stick?
Here.
Mr. Yolovich?
Here. Is there anyone signed up for the public forum?
There is not.
Is there anyone present who has not signed up to speak who would like to address the committee at this time? Seeing no one, the next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. You have the April 29th, 2015 minutes of the Environment and Public Works Committee before you. They will stand approved unless the clerk is notified of any changes by the end of the day. Paul Johnson, Associate Planner in Planning and Development Department, will now give a brief overview of the 2016 to 2021 Capital Improvement Program as pertains to the Environment and Public Works Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The legislators should have your copy of the 2016 to 21 Capital Improvement Program as recommended by the County Executive. This program has been reviewed and recommended as well by the Monroe County Planning Board, and they conducted one public information meeting as part of their review. There are 6 sections of the program that I want to briefly go over with you, beginning with the aviation program on page 23 of the document. These are improvements to the Greater Rochester International Airport, and the project list is very similar to the previous program years. The total funding is equal to last year's 6-year program, although some of the projects, individual projects, have increased and decreased in funding, which is not unusual. The federal cost share is up about almost 8% in this 6-year program. The state cost share is down 15%, and the local share is down 21%. So there has been some shifting of funding shares, if you will, for the program. There are 2 new projects in this 6-year effort: the Taxiway C rehabilitation for $1 million in 2020, and the Taxiway F rehabilitation for $500,000 in 2021. Moving on to the Pure Water section, which you'll find on page 37. We have a fairly significant increase in total funding for this 6-year effort for our Pure Waters program. And again, projects have shifted in scheduling and cost as well as compared to last year. And there are 6 new projects in the Pure Waters program, 2 projects in the Irondequoit Bay South Central District, 1 new project in the Gates-Chili-Ogden District, and 3 new projects in the Rochester Pure Waters District. The facilities management section you'll find on page 44. These are improvements to county buildings and facilities. The total program is down about 17% from last year's effort, and again, costs have shifted on a number of the projects. And there is 1 new project in the facilities program. That's the Ames building reconstruction, scheduled in 2016 and 2018 for a total of $2 million. Fleet, you'll find on page 48. These are projects to replace equipment in parks, traffic engineering, and highways and bridges. And you can see annual funding levels for each of those. The total funding is down about almost 2% as compared to last year. Moving on to solid waste, which you'll find on page 49, the project that appears here, the Northeast Quadrant Gloria Drive landfill improvements, which was in last year's program as well and has funding in 2015. You'll see the second phase of that project in 2016, so we're consistent with that project. And finally, the Water Authority is on page 69, and you'll see the same list of general program categories for water service improvements that have appeared in previous programs. Funding is up 19% over last year. The primary reason being, if you'll recall, that in last year's program there was no funding in the year 2015 for these projects. The Water Authority opted to use cash instead, so that accounts for the relative increase from last year to this year. And that concludes my presentation, Mr. Chairman. We'd be happy to take questions when you get to this item on the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Next item on the agenda is new business.
Referral 15-0156.
Moved by legislator Delahanty, seconded by legislator Yolovich. Any discussion? Yes, legislator Stick.
Through the chair, I have a question to the administration regarding the perimeter service road on page 30. Last year CIP put 2016 funding from the feds at $450,000, and it is showing the funding now at $1 million. Can you please explain the increase to me?
Through the chair, the program for aviation with regard to federal funds is extremely dependent upon FAA priorities. Therefore, the shifting from the current capital plan to future capital plans, it's a dynamic environment. And with changing priorities in the federal government or the FAA specifically, when those federal funds do become available, or we see that that's where the FAA is leaning toward, then we'll shift. We have to shift because that's when we're going to get our federal funding. It is a dynamic environment. I briefed this to the planning board, and I know it takes a little getting used to, but it is almost a year-to-year plan with federal funding as opposed to the 6-year capital plan for the county.
Any further discussion? Yes, legislator Stick.
This question is concerning property acquisition on page 33. Last year's CIP was a total of $500,000, and this year it's a total of $1 million, $500,000 for 2018 and $500,000 for 2021. Can you tell me what the additional properties that are going to be purchased in 2021?
Through the chair, we've identified in the airport master plan, the latest update, which is soon to be published, properties that are in runway protection zones. Specific properties, I don't have those with me, but they are in the master plan, which can be provided and have been provided to this body. The master plan is public, and what this identifies is runway protection zones where the FAA would encourage us to control the properties adjacent to those. So anything within those runway protection zones in our master plan would be the answer to your question.
Thank you.
And one last question, please. Through the chair, this is page 40, the NWQ WTP aeration system improvements for pure waters. Last year's CIP is a project total of $2 million, and this year is a project of $12 million. Can you explain to me the $10 million increase and why the project's starting in 2016 versus in 2020?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, that additional funding is for the construction phase of the project. We've advanced the project forward based on need. This is really the heart of the treatment process at the plant, and we identified that as a priority project and therefore reprioritized it and advanced the funding forward.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 15-0158.
Moved by legislator Yolovich, seconded by legislator Rockow. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Sorry, Chairman, can I ask a question?
It's already been voted on, legislator Stick. Any opposed? All right, item carries. Next Next item.
Referral 15-0159.
Moved by legislator Rocco, seconded by legislator Delahanty. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 15-0160.
Moved by legislator Delahanty, seconded by legislator Yolovich. Any discussion? Yes, legislator Stick.
Through the chair, when does this Phase 2A start and end, and how long does the equipment usually last?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, the work will begin late this summer. It will take a little over 12 months to complete, and we expect that this work will have a useful life of at least 30 years.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 15-0169.
Moved by legislator Yolovich, seconded by legislator Rocco. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Are there any other matters to come before the committee? Yes, legislator Stick.
Through the chair, I was asked to find out if the MWBE report had been filed yet per referral 14-0168. The deadline is April 1st of this year.
Is that on our agenda, Mr. Chairman? Point of order.
Item 15.
14-0168.
14?
Yes, this resolution was filed last year, and they were supposed to receive a report each year by April 1st, and I was asked to see if that report had been filed, because to date, we have not received
All right.
it.
Since the item is not on the agenda, just ask maybe submit that request in writing.
Okay.
Okay. Any other matters? All right. There being no other matters, the May 20th, 2015 meeting of the Environment and Public Works Committee stands adjourned. The next meeting will be June 22nd, 2015 at 6 p.m.